play we're going to do next is an episode from the TV show Dragnet that starred Jack Webb. How many remember Jack Webb? Yeah. Jack Webb played the lead role of Detective Sergeant Joe Friday of the Los Angeles Police Department, badge number 714. Remember that? So now we'd like to share with you this heartfelt, heartwarming holiday story from 1953. Our play is called Dragnet, The Christmas Story.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to the burglary division. You get a call that an important piece of religious art has been stolen from the oldest church in Los Angeles. There is no lead to its whereabouts. Your job, find it. Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, December 24th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday, Joe Friday. I'd gone across the street to buy stamps for some Christmas cards I was sending out. It was 9:15 a.m. when I got back to room 45, burglary. I sat down at a table in the squad room and started to address the cards when Frank walked in carrying a stack of Christmas boxes.
Hiya, Joe.
Hi, Frank.
Christmas cards, eh? A little late, aren't you?
Well, I was going to send them out Monday, but we had that stakeout.
You ought to get married, Joe.
Yeah?
It's the only system. Faye does all this stuff for me. Laundry, mails, cards, only system.
That might help.
You got a big stack there.
Yeah, I ought to cut down the list. Look at this here, upholstery shop.
Yeah?
They send me a card every year. I never get anything upholstered.
Faye and I ought to go over our list. Cut out a few names. I brought in your present. Want to open it now?
No, I'll wait.
I always open a couple the day before.
Why?
Well, puts you in the spirit ahead of time. I opened Phil's this morning.
Who's he?
Faye's brother in Denver gave me a magazine. One of those funny ones.
What do you mean, a comic book?
No. One of those funny ones. You know.
No, I don't, Frank.
Well, some of the pages have holes in them. You look through and there's a picture on the next page.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those on the newsstand.
They have cloth pasted in.
Cloth?
In the ads, if you want to buy a suit, they have a sample right there.
You mean you can feel it?
Reach right out and feel it. There was one for $200.
A suit?
Sure. Cloth came from Scotland.
What's it made out of? Solid gold?
No, they got a special kind of goat over there. It's real smooth.
Not a goat, Frank. A sheep.
Wow, yeah, it's some kind of special sheep then. Because the suit costs $200.
You gonna get one?
I told Faye. She said, wear the sample. Anything doing?
Well, Fanning and Pryor were in on that market hold-up.
They come up with anything?
Found the bear, nothing else.
I hope it stays quiet. I've got more shopping to do.
I finished.
What'd you get in?
Stationery set, paper and envelopes, leather binding.
Joe, you'll never learn.
What's the matter?
No woman wants a stationery set. Get her something personal.
Well, it's got her initials on it.
No. You want something more sentimental, romantic.
What'd you get, Faye?
It's different in her case.
What'd you get, Faye?
Sewing machine.
That's romantic.
Well, it is in a way.
Why didn't you buy her a catcher's mitt? Burglary Friday. Yeah, that's right. You have the right department. All right, Father. We'll be right down. No. You can tell us about it there. Yeah, goodbye. The old mission church. They've had a theft.
Collection money?
Statue of the child Jesus. Frank and I checked out of the office and rode over to the church at the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Main. The old Mission Plaza Church, founded 1781, the year Los Angeles became a pueblo. The devout Mexicans in town still attend services there. 10:05 a.m. Frank and I crossed through the courtyard. A young priest crossed the courtyard to meet us. We asked for Father Xavier Rojas. We were told he was inside. We entered by a side door. The church seemed to glow with the hundreds of votive candles flickering on both sides of the altar. It was empty except for a few people praying. We found Father Rojas up near the sanctuary, looking at the nativity scene. He told us about the crib. It was a $70 duplication of the scene at Bethlehem. The parishioners had taken up a collection for it 31 years ago. It was put up every year on December 22nd and taken down after the holy season. It was beautiful, except for one of the shepherds had lost an arm, a sheep was old and cracked, and the infant Jesus was missing. Father Rojas led us back into the sacristy.
I'm sorry to bother you, man,
It's all right, Father.
especially now, the holiday season.
We cash our checks, Father. You want to tell us what happened?
Or what you think happened?
I discovered the statue was missing right after the 6 a.m. Mass.
Did you say the 6th?
Yes, I started over at the rectory and stopped by the crib.
Was the statue there before Mass?
I don't know, but it was there last night,
How late is the church open?
all night.
You leave it wide open so any thief can walk in?
Particularly thieves, Sergeant.
You say it was there last night, Father? How late?
10 or 11 o'clock. We had confessions.
No one saw it after that?
One of the altar boys says it may have been there. He thinks it was.
Did he see it?
He's not sure.
What's his name?
Pardon me a moment. Here's the schedule. You'll find the names for every mosque there.
Was there a big crowd at the 6 a.m. Mass, Father?
Not too many. 7's the big one. People on their way to work.
Did anyone stay after Mass, did you notice?
Not especially. I came back here, took off the vestments. I suppose it was 10 or 15 minutes before I went back into the church.
It was empty then?
No, people were coming for the 7 o'clock.
Are these the altar boys, James Curneen and Joseph Heffernan?
That's right. Joe's the one who's mentioned it might have been there.
Did you check with the other priests, Father?
Yes, I did. Before I called you, none of them knows anything.
Just for a check on the pawn shops, how much is the statue worth?
In money?
Well, that's the point in pawn shops, Father.
Only a few dollars. We could get a new one, but it wouldn't be the same. We have children in the parish. They've grown up and married. It's the only Jesus they know.
We understand.
And we've had children who died. It's the only Jesus they knew. So many of the people who come here are simple people. They wouldn't understand, Sergeant. It would be like changing the evening star.
Thank you, Father. We'll do our best.
That's why it would mean so much to have it back for the first Mass of Christmas.
That's not very long, Father.
Less than 24 hours.
If anything turns up, you know where to get in touch with us.
Yes. It's sad, isn't it?
How's that?
In so short a time, men learn to steal.
Yes, but think about us, Father.
Us.
If some of them didn't, you and I would be out of work. 10:50 a.m. We notified pawn shop detail. Frank and I checked out the two altar boys. The first one, James Gurnane, said he knew nothing about the missing statue. The second one, Joseph Heffernan, was not at home. His father said he had a part-time job, but he'd have him get in touch with us right after lunch. 11:30 a.m., back at the station. We had a man to find. Our only clue? He'd been to church. 11:33 a.m. We checked the phone books for the names of religious stores in the area. 2 of them were closed. We tried the third. When we got there, the only person at the store was an elderly man sitting by a table. In front of him was a large, beautifully carved chess set. We're police officers. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Pleased to meet you. Caught me in the middle of a big chess match.
Where's your partner?
Oh, up in San Jose. We've been playing for years.
Same match?
Oh, just 2 or 3 months on this one. What I meant was, we've been playing different matches for years.
I see.
We do it through the mail. I send him a move, he sends me a move.
Must keep you on your toes.
Except during the holidays, mail gets all messed up. That's no good.
I guess not.
Slows things down, you know what I mean? I like to catch him off guard.
Are you Mr. Flavin?
How'd you know? We never met.
Your name's on the window out front.
Mr. Flavin, we checked the other 2 religious stores in the neighborhood. They're closed.
This is the best one anyway. 50% European items.
We're checking the stores around the mission church.
For what?
Statue of the child Jesus. Do you have one we could look at?
Sure.
No, sir, a larger one.
You don't want a larger one, unless it's for a church. That's where you want a large one.
Could we see it, please?
Well, it's not my place to butt in, but unless you live in a large place, this old one will make your whole living room look out of whack.
Yes, sir. Do most of the people who go to the mission church trade here?
You mean, well, a good number of them, especially the kids.
Why kids?
More religious. Check on it yourself. See if kids aren't more religious than you.
Well, might be so.
That's what's wrong with the world. I don't mean you're wrong with it, everybody.
Yes, sir. Wonder if we could stick to the point, Mr. Flavin?
Sure. A lot of people from the mission church come here.
Do people ever come in and sell back a religious article?
You mean like a prayer book or rosaries?
Yes, sir.
Second hand, you mean?
Yes, sir.
Not since I've been around. That's silly.
Why?
People don't have religious items to get rid of them. They have them so they can have them.
But if a man had a statue and wanted to sell it, he'd come to a place like this?
Well, but people don't have religious articles so they can get rid of them. They wouldn't want to sell it even if he stole it.
He would if it was stolen.
No, sir. if a man was to steal a statue, he'd be crazy or something like that. The only place he'd want to go is where crazy people go.
You might be right, Mr. Flavin.
I don't know what you fellas are looking for, but if it's somebody who stole a statue, he's crazy, and you won't find him. You won't find him as long as you live, or in 1,000,000 years.
Thanks, that should cover it, Mr. Flavin. We checked religious stores out as far as Van Ness. We asked the same questions. The owners all gave us the same answers. Frank and I had lunch and reported back to the office. It was 1:30 p.m. when we started into the squad room. The captain was just coming out.
I just checked for you in the lunchroom.
We've been out on that theft at the mission.
May get some action on that Patterson case.
They located him?
They think he's on the bus from Sacramento.
Well, that means the Bakersfield police.
We'll wait and see.
Are one of you fellas Sergeant Friday?
He is.
I'm Joe Heffernan. My father said you wanted to see me.
Son, you didn't have to come in. A phone call would have worked.
My father said to get on over. He says that any kid that uses a phone is lazy.
We want to ask you about this morning.
You served the 6 a.m. mass?
Yes, sir. I'm senior boy, so I get the 6.
You're a senior and you take the early service?
Yes, sir. That way, if you receive communion, you get to have breakfast sooner.
Father Rojas says you think the statue was there before mass.
I didn't look, but I have a feeling it was there.
A feeling?
You know, how you have a feeling about something, but you're not sure.
Did you stay around long after mass?
I put out the candles and hung up my surplice.
And how long would that take?
Oh, about 5 minutes.
Did any of
maybe.
the people at mass stay on?
Oh, some always do, especially the ladies.
Oh?
Maybe they didn't finish in time, or else they start new prayers. I don't know.
So when you left, there were still some women there?
No, sir. That was at first. After I went to the sacristy, there was only this one man.
What man?
He comes to 6 o'clock all the time.
Do you know his name?
No, sir. But he works down on Olive, you know, paint shop where they paint signs.
Could you describe him?
Sort of medium. He was wearing a suit that didn't match.
Didn't match.
You know, different pants than coat.
About his age?
Oh, he's pretty old.
Take a guess, son.
About 40, maybe. There's nothing really particular about him.
Then why'd you notice him?
I've seen him before, and the bundle, I guess.
The bundle?
Out in front, I saw him when he was coming out. He had this bundle, and he almost dropped it.
How large a bundle?
It's hard to say.
Come on, son. Was it large? Was it small? Size of a statue?
About that big, sir. Yes, sir.
We located the sign shop. The suspect didn't work there anymore, but we discovered his name was Claude Stroop. We found out where he lived. 2:25 p.m. We arrived there. It was a hotel for men, mostly old men, mostly down and outers. It was called the Golden Dream. Police officers were looking for Claude Stroop.
Hope Claude didn't get in any trouble.
So do we. Is he in?
No, he's got room 307. You can check if you like.
We'll take your word for it. Were you on this morning?
Huh?
Did you have the early shift?
Oh, we don't have shifts. My uncle owns the place. I'm the shift.
Did Stroop spend last night here?
Hey, you come around 11 o'clock,
When did he leave this morning?
around 6, maybe before.
Did he come back after?
8 o'clock or so, then left. Supposed to be back at 10, then he pulls this trick.
What trick?
Oh, our program, he knows the other fellows need him.
Program?
Here at the hotel, every Christmas we have a program. Put up a tree and sing. They're mostly old fellows. Singing like that makes them remember back when they were kids. Then Jimmy Finn comes on.
Jimmy Finn?
He shares room 409. His family once owned a lot of money. So he tells the fellows about it, stories about Christmas, how Christmas dinner everybody turned over their plate, and underneath was a $20 gold piece, a brand new one. His grandfather gave him gold pieces.
When Stroop came in this morning, did he have a bundle?
I didn't see him come in.
You said you saw him.
I saw him go out after, but not come in.
And when was that?
Around 8 o'clock. If you want to look for a bundle, I could give you his key.
We don't have a warrant.
That's all right. I know about the police. It's all right with me.
It's not with us.
Oh, I didn't mean that. I meant it was all right with me.
Good King likes this last look down on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep in Christian even, brightly shone the moon that night, through the was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel.
They were old men. You couldn't tell how much better they would have been with Stroop singing with them. But somehow you didn't care. This was Christmas at the Golden Dream, and it sounded just fine.
Good King Wenceslas looked down on the feast of Stephen.
This is the last rehearsal. They got most of the songs down pat.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's why it's a shame Claude isn't here. He's tenor, and they really need him to make it sound just right.
Does Stroop have a job?
No, sir. He used to have jobs, but not much lately, though.
Did he say where he was going?
No, he should have. The fellows really need him.
When he comes in, will you call us?
Sure. Not say anything about it?
That's right.
I hope there's nothing serious for Claude. The fellow's troubles ought to be over.
Troubles?
Way back when, it wouldn't count now.
Tell us anyway,
Well, I don't know much about it.
as much as you know. Now come on.
Oh, it was something back where he used to live. And he robbed somebody or something.
What else?
That's all. It was a long time ago, way far back. But he forgot all about it, the robbing and such.
No, not quite.
Huh?
He remembered it this morning.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day.
We went back to the office and ran Stroop's name through records and identification. If he'd been booked anywhere, we had no record of it, at least not under that name. 4:15 p.m. Pawn shop detail reported back. No object resembling the statue of the child Jesus had been turned in.
Patterson's on that Sacramento bus.
I thought Bakersfield had it.
They were supposed to confirm. They did. Hop on over to the station.
What about Fanning and Pryor?
They're still out.
Well, they'll be back soon. When's the bus arrive?
6 o'clock.
There's plenty of time for them to make it.
There's more time for you.
We're still on that theft, Captain.
Can it wait?
No?
What is it, a $10, $15 statue?
When's the price determine a case?
I realize it's a church statue, but that doesn't give it priority.
It's important to them, Captain. Joe and I promised to get it back.
What do you got on it?
Nothing much.
Then why are you so big-hearted?
concrete Friday. When? Oh, no, don't say anything. Right. It's Claude Stroop. He just walked into the hotel. He's our suspect.
Nobody's leaked to him?
No,
Well, he'll keep. You can run him down tomorrow.
it'll be too late then.
They need it for the first mass in the morning, Skipper. It's kind of a big thing for them.
I'm sorry, I can't juggle details around so you can get a statue back. If there's time later on, we'll do our best.
Yes, sir.
You better get over to the station.
Yes, sir. Will you call Father Rojas over at the mission?
Why?
Tell him we're too busy to work on the statue.
But we'll do it later, tomorrow, or when we get a chance.
Why can't you call him?
Well, we better get over to the station.
If Patterson's on that bus, we don't want to miss him.
All right, I'll call him. Friday,
Yeah?
I can send Fanning and Pryor over. You might as well stay on that other thing.
Whatever you say, Captain. 4:43 p.m. We arrived at the Golden Dream Hotel. The desk clerk was right. Claude Stroop looked like a man who'd had his troubles at bargain rates. Your name, Claude Stroop?
Yes, sir.
Police officers would like to talk to you.
I didn't do anything against the law. Honest, I didn't do anything against it.
You haven't been accused.
We want to take you downtown.
We'd like to talk to you.
No, sir. I'm not going. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to talk to anybody.
You're half wrong already. 5:15 p.m. We returned Stroop for interrogation. He kept his word. He refused to talk. 6:05 p.m. Frank called Faye, told her he'd be a little late. Stroop didn't move for a whole hour. He sat and stared, but he didn't talk. 6:40 p.m., we got a final report from pawn shop detail. The shops were closed. There was no statue. Stroop still hadn't talked.
Don't you ever want to go home, Stroop?
If I was to talk, you wouldn't let me go.
Well, it depends on what you'd say.
I'd say it wrong and I wouldn't get home.
You won't this way either.
I'd like to go. You can bet on that. This is the 7th year we have the program and I never missed a one. Not a single one.
Why don't you tell us what happened, Stroop?
How would I know you'd let me go?
You wouldn't.
Guess I might as well then.
All right, what happened?
Well,
From
there was
mass on.
mass. There was mass. I came out and started toward the hotel.
Back up, I said from
I left
mass
my
on.
stuff at the hotel and then I picked up George's car. I didn't steal it. He said I could have it anytime I wanted. Only this time I didn't ask him. I took it and started out. I should have asked, but I just didn't. I went over to Grand Avenue for the Christmas bulbs where this fellow sells them secondhand. It was when I was coming out of the lot that I did it.
Yeah?
The bumper must have caught the other car. It didn't leave too big a dent, but there was this long scratch. I got out and tried to wipe it off with my handkerchief. You know, spit on it like. Only it didn't do no good. I didn't think anybody saw. I don't know how you fellas found out about it.
I'll check auto records.
Right, Frank. Stroop, we didn't bring you down here to talk about that.
You didn't?
No, there's a statue missing from the church. A statue of the child Jesus.
You mean you think I took it?
You took a bundle out of the church.
Yes, sir. That was my other pants for the program tonight. I had a seam sewed up and there was a button off. You can check. But I wouldn't take a statue.
I don't think you would either.
He's cleared auto records.
Thanks, Frank. Stroop, go on home.
For the program? You mean it's all right?
Good night, Stroop.
Good night. Merry Christmas.
Where to?
Oh, I don't know. We could stay and work work on it tonight.
Wouldn't do any good. We won't find it.
I don't think so.
No use kidding the priest, build his hopes up.
Might as well go tell him now. Merry Christmas. 7:27 p.m. We found Father Rojas. Frank told him how it was, that we couldn't get the statue back by morning, but that we'd keep trying during the week. He said he understood. We told him we had to get going. As Frank and I started to leave, the doors at the main entrance to the church opened. It was a good 200 feet away. It was hard to be sure, but it looked like a small boy drawing a bright red wagon behind him. When he got closer, you could see he was no bigger than a pint of milk. He was a luminous-eyed little Mexican boy with a face as young as yesterday. The priest seemed to know him. In the back of the wagon was the missing statue of the child Jesus.
Paquito!
Padre Rojas,
He just stood there looking up at Father Rojas.
It's Paco Mendoza, a boy from the parish.
Ask him where he found it.
¿Dónde lo encontraste?
no lo encontré. Lo cogo esta mañana.
He didn't find it. He took it.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Todos los años Paquito rezo por un camioncito rojo. Este año Paquito le rezo al niño Jesús. Yo prometo al niño Jesús el primera día en mi camioncito.
Oh. He says all through the years he prayed for a red wagon. This year he prayed to the child Jesus. If he promised that if he got the wagon, the child Jesus would have the first ride in it.
Vendrá el diablo para llevar a Paquito.
He wants to know if the devil will come and take him to hell.
Huh, that's your department, Father.
No el diablo. Jesus ama Paquito mucho.
We crossed over to the sanctuary. The young boy replaced the infant Jesus in its rightful place, the crib in the nativity scene. Frank and I could have been wrong, but the small plaster statue seemed to approve.
Velve a tu casa, Paquito.
The priest told the boy to go home. He took hold of the wagon, started the long walk out of the church. There wasn't much we could say. There wasn't much to say. We just stood there and watched him go. Halfway up, he turned to look back. Then he went on out.
I don't understand how he got that wagon today. Don't kids wait for Santa Claus anymore?
It isn't from Santa. The firemen fix old toys and give them to the children. Paquito's family, they're poor.
Are they, Father?
The story you have heard is true. The names and locations have been changed. Ladies and gentlemen, our cast.
Tony Lorette was Joe Friday. Mark Gray played Frank Smith. Ed Ford was Father Rojas. Ruby Oliver was Flavin and the announcer. Elizabeth Raybold was Captain Bernard. Right here. Billy Clark, way over there, was Joe Heffer.